Well, greetings again. Welcome to our toasty and warm record unboxing. The good times keep rolling this month. It's been a good month for record collecting here. This one is from my old good trusty friends at Dusty Groove. So I've got a nice big bundle here to crack open. You know how it goes. So let's do this. Okay, let's crack on in. This time, back to a square box, not rectangular, so it should fit better on this chair. The old trusty chair here. So, Dusty Groove, let's do. Okay, let's creak on open. All right, so we have the usual packaging. All right, now let's take this off. All right, so we just got a bit of paper, brown paper wrapping, but pretty accessible. Here we go. This upside. Oh, I might have opened upside down. That's okay. Well, hopefully. First up, yeah, this was a good price. I got something similar in one of the last bundles that I recorded, and again, the price was the pushing point, I suppose. So what do we got? This is, I think, 1969, perhaps. I may be wrong, but 2LP, and that is Pink Floyd's Amagama. That great cover with the kind of illusion happening, which I think is a really cool concept. Yeah, look. Again, this should be early enough, and I do have half of this on CD. I bought a CD pretty cheap, I think last year, for about $4 maybe, and it turned out though it was only the live album side, I'm pretty sure. So I didn't get the whole thing. But that was okay. That was just a sort of cheap timing over thing. But yeah, this is, look, it's not in brilliant nick. The cover is all right. There's some, there is some splitting there. But again, it's not too heinous. It's sort of like very good cover, I suppose. Tiny bit of wear there. I don't know how the inside's going. But the vinyl's supposed to be very good plus for $17 US. So I thought I'd take the opportunity to crack open the gatefold, because you've got to love a gatefold. And yeah, look, again, some staining. I don't know if that's like foxing stain. It looks a little bit rusty looking rather than dirty. I don't know. But it is, I don't know what pressing this is. I think it is a later pressing. But yeah, and this is obviously when Dave Gilmour was in the band early days after Sid Barrett wigged out. But Dave was helping Sid with his own solo stuff. And yeah, look, the 2LP meant a little bit more, like double the cost of the post. But that's okay for the price. Again, a lot better than if I bought it in Australia, where even in this condition in terms of the cover, I'd still be paying a Crockett load. So for the price, even with the conversion, yeah, that's a good deal there. Yeah. All right, next up. Okay, this one. Yeah, look, I've almost bought this before because I do, yeah, the artist is pretty good sometimes, especially the early 70s stuff. I did listen to this, it's a bit hit and miss, but it's okay. And for the price and the condition, I thought I'll, give it a proper crack because I probably won't get too many other LPs, if not probably no other LPs for this artist that I've already got, I think, two of. And that is Joe Simon and Get Down with that great cover. Really cool. And I like, you can actually see the reflection of her in the floor there too. So she's definitely getting down to the ground. So yeah, this one is, I think it's on Spring Records, which like I think Fatback band was on, and I think this is like mid 70s. Let's look. Yeah, smack in the mid 1975. So we're just on that cusp. We're getting a little bit more probably club oriented, disco oriented, but there's still enough nice soul moments in here with his unique nasally voice. Yeah, so as I said, that's probably why I probably won't go past 1975 for Joe Simon. Yeah, because he is good, but you know, just not highest on my list of priorities. But again, for the price, $4 plus a bit of post for near mint minus. I mean, can't complain too much. I'm not going to expect too much, but I do love a striking cover. That is, it's a striking cover. Eye catching. Okay, so from sort of funky soul, let's see what we've got next. Well, probably going the next step up in terms of getting close to the clubby disco theme. Unashamedly here, I think, for this group. This is the only LP of this group I've got, I will say, so far, but I think from all accounts, this is the one to probably get. Because again, the year and actually, no, there might be some a bit earlier. But anyway, this is from 1978, I think. So I think there are earlier ones to get. This is Turn the Music Up, and you can see that's very much catering towards the clubby, disco-y thing. So yeah, sorry, disregard these other comments. I think there are some earlier Players Association ones to get. But I did listen, it's pretty cool. Not totally essential, just a bit of fun to have as a slight deviation from just straight up funk. Some sort of clubby stuff is okay. And yeah, there's some nice energy on this. $17. So look, I did pay a little bit more, but it is very good plus. And as I said, it is a kind of sought after, probably not so much by my tastes, not as much, but you will notice demo, bam. It's always nice. Tiny bit of ring wear there. Nice photo, I must say. Yeah. So look, you can see with some of the titles here, like Turn the Music Up, Everybody Dance, Ride the Groove, that's towards the clubby, disco-y end of things. There is a cover of I Wish, Stevie Wonder song. That's all right. And yeah, look, if you're going to cover someone in the 70s, do a bit of Stevie. And I think there might be a couple of little sort of slower songs. I can't remember if The Closer I Get to You is a bit more ballady, but yeah. Now the interesting thing is, if we look at the list of players here, we do have some known players that, by 78, they're probably trying to get some session work under their belt. Pat Rebelot did heaps of work with Herbie Mann. He's awesome on keyboards. Mike Mandel, another keyboard player who's with 11th House with Larry Coryell, and probably just released his own solo album around this time or maybe earlier. But he tends to go under the radar. Herb Bushley you see pop up on a fair few albums around the time, and Ray Mantilla on percussion does as well. Yeah, and even some of the horn players you do see turn up with Marvin Stam and Victor Paz. You see their names a fair bit. Is there anyone on this side? Let's see. Oh, Wilbur Bascom, Steve Kahn. Okay, Leon Pendarvis. Entombé. Look, Michael Brecker, Dave Samble, John Faddis is some credit. So yeah, even there, extra personnel, they're solid players and some solid session players around. So yeah, interesting, called the Players Association, because it sounds like it's an association of, well, lots of session players probably, and being it's the disco era, yeah, you get a lot of that happening anyway. So there you go, 1978. I'm pretty sure it goes into focus. There we go. Vanguard Records. Interesting for Vanguard. Yeah, I will turn the music up when I play it. Cracking on. Here we go. Next up. Yeah, these are all upside down, by the way. Yeah, I'm not sure why the poster stickers are on the bottom. Anywho, this one, look, again, this is not essential. This is me probably pushing the post-75 envelope a little bit, where the band was a cracking band, like, no doubt, like funky band. But again, because we're hitting post-75, we are getting a little bit more disco-fied and clubbified and stuff. But again, it's eight, as the kids say. And that is Mandrill. We Are One. And this is 1977, I believe. So again, this is pushing how far I'd go with Mandrill. I think there's only one other one. Well, not need. We'll probably fill in the gap. I think the year before this, or maybe even 75. I'm thinking 76. But yeah, only $8 for Very Good Plus. So again, I thought if I'm going to do it, get at least Very Good Plus. Still cool cover. And I'm not sure what they're doing there with their sort of awesome hats. I don't know. They go into, I don't know, is that Cuba, Miami? I don't know, Panama. But yeah, look, they're still getting the word funky in the title. Closer to You sounds like it could be a ballady thing. We got Happy Beat. That could be a clubby thing. Can You Get It? So look, the titles don't seem that, thoughtful as such, or, original. But look, they were a really tight band. I don't know if it's by this time. I think they did lose some of their players. I might be wrong. Coffee's still there. But yeah, this is on Arista. So I think they've changed labels a few times. They might have been on Polydor, I think, originally. So a bit of a label shift, which also probably means they need to do a bit of a style shift to kind of keep up and sell units, for the new labels. So I'm not sure this is the first one, Arista. Quite possible. I think they might even, I don't know, they might have changed to another label in between this one and Polydor. Might be wrong. All right. But yeah, going to give it a crack for 8. And if I did listen to it, it would have been a long time ago. I can't even remember. I just remember putting it lower on my list. Alrighty, moving along. What do we got next? This is my first LP for these guys. Oh, no, sorry. Tell a lie. This is actually my second. However, this is the sort of first of their more known stuff. I've got one where they recorded early on as a kind of an unknown album. It was actually quite funky and stuff. And then they sort of shifted style by the late 70s and became more popular. I do have a CD compilation. I thought it was going to be enough to satisfy, but I thought, look, again, it'd be nice just to get maybe one or two of their late 70s as opposed to early 80s stuff when things get a bit electro. And that is the band Confunction and Secrets. Shh, so don't tell anyone I bought this. They might think I'm lame. Nah, they're one of those big funk ensembles. Around the Earth, Wind and Fire era, and who else? Cameo and Slave. So they can get a bit too sweetly sickly sometimes for my liking. Again, a bit commercial in some ways. But look, this is, I believe, 1977. So, look, it's still early enough that the real instruments are being played in a large ensemble, and some decent, vocals. But you can just, they've just got a little bit more of a commercial appeal, I suppose. 1977. And this is obviously at the same time of peak P-Funk power. But, yeah. So it's a big band, but it's no P-Funk, aesthetic or, zany styling. And, look, you can again see with some of the titles. Sometimes the titles of things are a giveaway. Tears in My Eyes. That sounds very ballady. But the really bigger track, the known sort of track that's, I suppose, got a bit of credibility is the Fun with double F. I don't know if the first F or the second F is silent or if any of them are silent. So it's some sort of fun stutter. But so there's some sort of decent songs. Really slick production as such, really nicely recorded. It is on Mercury, and it does have, I think, Skip Scarborough producing, who was doing a lot of stuff around that time that was quite successful and even sort of club oriented, disco oriented. So it's going to have that influence there. But as you can see, there's real instruments in the brass section and synths and clavs and stuff. So there's still some good value to be had. But again, I wouldn't say totally essential for me. Other people would be like, yeah, they love it. But good to have at least one of theirs so far on record. Oh, sorry, it is the second one. But as I said, the other one is very, very different and very enjoyable. Alrighty, similar era here now. I actually have, I think, 3 LPs from this band. It's actually pretty underrated. I will say their first LP is the best I've heard, or even I own and even streamed some others. So this one's sort of in the middle-ish, and that's BT Express's Shout It Out, or Shout It Out. I don't know, here it just says Shout, and I always thought it was a Shout, so we'll just call it Shout. And look, near mint minus for $7 again, so nicely priced. Yeah, look, this one again is probably when they're getting a bit more clubbified, disco, slanted. I think it's about 1977, perhaps even 76, but I think it's, we'll find out. I think it's more 77 because we'll see. So again, you can see the quite typical titles, put it in the bucket, shake it off. You've got something. I'm surprised it doesn't say, comma, girl, But yeah, look, they're still a big ensemble band again. Lots of fun, lots of high energy. And just trying to see it. Oh, there you go. 78. Sorry, peoples. 78, yeah. Okay, so third, maybe fourth LP. Yeah, so let's put that one to the side. Now, cracking on, here we go. What's this one? I have to tell when they're upside down. Oh, yeah, okay. So this one I did add at the last minute because I've been umming and ahhing at this, purely because the price is quite high. But again, I don't own any, until now, of this artist that I've been starting to discover just the last couple of years. And I've discovered this LP, had a bit of a listen, and it's full instrumental. Sometimes this artist sings. He did do some guitar work on some other people's stuff in the early 70s, I think. And yeah, I pulled the trigger because I thought, yeah, well, about time to get some Little Beaver when he wants to sit still. Oh, that's LP Black. Oh, geez, beef. I'll just put it there. Black Rhapsody. And if you can't tell he's a guitarist from that, well, I just can't help you. Just can't help you there. Yeah, so I think this one is about 90s. I sometimes get this wrong. 75, 76, somewhere in there, some mid 70s. You can see that I did pay a little bit more for this one. He reckons it was listed at 30, down at 26, but that's becoming a bit of a standard for some of these reissues, particularly through Dusty Groove. That seems to be becoming a bit of a standard price for the better reissues or the harder to get ones. Now, oh geez. So yeah, it was originally on this label I really don't know anything about, Cat Records. I just always see that associated with Little Beaver. But to be honest, I can't recall any other acts that are associated with this Cat Records. So yeah, it's interesting. So they've still put the logo there on this reissue, which is nice. Yeah, so if we have a look down, yeah, I think there's a couple of covers, as you can see. Oh, look, we've got another Let's Stay Together and another Never Can Say Goodbye. But I think, and another Summertime, but I think he sort of mixes it up a bit here. So, yeah, look, I have had a listen. It's quite good. It's, it is strong. Instrumentals for a Little Beaver. Now, in terms of, there we go. So 74, just off by a year on the 75. So yeah. So we're, sticking to the pre-75 in a way. Yeah, look, I do want to get some of his other ones. Yeah, but again, they're quite sort of getting to the higher end of pricey reissues. So, hey, I'll take this one for now. And this apparently, though, is on green vinyl. Green, I'm not sure why. I can't see any reference to green anywhere on this cover. He's not our green. He's not Grant Green, which would probably be the I'm not seeing green here. I'm seeing blue. So are there any songs that say green? No, there's not. So it's not easy being green. Yeah, I have no idea. Not that I care too much at all about coloured vinyl. But hey, there it is. So yeah, Little Beaver Black Rhapsody, 1974, reishk. Yay, hey. Funky soul instrumentals. All right, cracking on. This LP has been on my hit list for a while. Not totally high, but, definitely in the mid-range because I've been getting a fair bit of this artist's work, sort of late 60s to early 70s. getting towards 1974 stuff. And this is basically the first of, well, I believe it's maybe the first of his comeback. I don't know if he had 2 comebacks, but this is definitely making a statement in terms of comebacks. In 1969, I don't know if it was released 69 or 70, around there, but it is on a label I'm really getting a lot of prestige. That is Gene Ammons. That is The Boss Is Back. So I'm pretty sure this was the first in the series of comeback LPs after he came out of jail for, well, what is likely trumped up drug, possession, use charges, or whatever. He'd always, I think, well, for a long, not always, sorry, but I think for a long time was on Prestige even before his lengthier jail term here. And I'm not sure if he actually was in another jail term prior. So sorry, I'm a bit sketch on that, but I know that's the case with this one. And then he's had a really nice run of LPs on Prestige in the late 60s onwards. I believe he died not really that long after. I think it was about 1975, maybe 76. So, yeah, he still produced a fair few albums since his new re-arrival here. This one I did pay a little bit more for because I did want to get a decent copy, and it still does go for a bit. It still does demand a bit of a price. This one for $20 US, but it is near mint minus, so at least I'm going to get a decent listen. And here's the sax man, Mr. Gene Ammons. Was around for a while. I don't know, he might have even been in the 40s as well. Definitely the 50s he was kicking on a lot of stuff. But this is some nice prestige 60s stuff, getting more in my pocket, with some a bit more funkier soul in places here. And look, you can see with some of the players there, and we're getting the prestige pedigree here with Sonny Phillips on organ, Buster Williams on bass, Bob Bushnell Fender bass, Frankie Jones, Bernard Purdy on drums. So you know what I mean. And Candido makes an appearance on congas here. So yeah, 6 songs, stretched out a little bit. Probably don't overstay their welcome too much. Probably looks about the average of the 6 minutes-ish mark. So, yeah, probably enough time to cook it up. And so look, it doesn't, I don't think I have a year here, but it just says that's December 1969. So I don't know if that's what it was released smack at the same time, 69, just before 70. But yeah, get the idea there of at least the ballpark in terms of release. Yeah, so love me some prestige in that era. Got some nice Gene Ammons stuff, and that ticks that one off the list. Okay, next, this one is definitely not an essential record. Okay, so I got this because I've seen it every now and again. I don't see it often. Every now and again. I don't think it's that highly regarded. So yeah, I'm selling this really well. But look, it's a CTI record. It's post 75. I believe it's the only CTI record by this artist who's actually quite obscure in terms of not, being known today, and probably, I don't know, but probably after the 70s. And this is an artist who I believe is a vocalist, and that is John Blair. We Belong Together. Well, that's nice to hear, John. We belong together. Oh, don't drop down there because then we can't see the CTI logo. So yeah, this is a near mint minus for $7. I did just see before that. It seems it's probably going to be hard to see, but that it just felt like a textured sort of cover. I don't know what it's meant to be. It's just like a, yeah, you probably can see there's a little, so, you know, and there's some nice tertiary earthy tones going on. There's a bit of motif. But yeah, look, I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about John Blair at all. But again, we've got a CTI product here, so there's going to be some value in here. And again, being that it's late 70s, so yeah, we're at 77. We do have David Matthews on there. That sometimes can be a little bit sus by this time. Sorry, David, but you know, sometimes get a bit twee. But this might be interesting. I'm going to be honest, I may have listened years ago or had a quick listen, and I wasn't that chuffed back then, but hey, you know, run out of CTI to get, so took the opportunity on a nice version, and bam, 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 demo. But if we look at some of the plays here, I believe we've got some, again, the usual late 70s CTI suspects here, but there you go. Guitar and vocal, John Blair. There you go. And Googie Coppola, I've seen pop up a fair bit now in the late 70s on female vocals there. Cliff Carter I've seen a few times, not as well known. But if we go over here, look, we got Mr. Gary King. We got Mr. Steve Gadd. Hiram Bullock's starting to come into the fold by this time. There's Ray Mantilla again, just mentioned before. You've got Hugh McCracken, but on harmonica. Interesting. And, oh, look, Irene Cara on background vocals. Oh, what a feeling. Yeah, I did say that. All right, so, yeah, 77 CT. I don't even think it's gatefold by this time. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, that's just I think it's the seam issue, maybe. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, it is. Yeah. And, there you go. Near mint minus John Blair, 7 US. Okay. This one I did get these guys, the record of these guys not long ago, because I've explained I've finally come around to them, I think, and gotten, okay, they're not as bad as I thought. One of these guys was mentioned before, playing on someone's album. We're going just on the 75 here, I believe, and I think it's their first official sort of release together as a group with their name on the banner, and that is the Brecker Brothers. So, yes, 1975 on this one. I think now I've got a couple there. I think I've got 3 maybe now. That was very quickly done, wherein I've been avoiding them really for years and just, yeah, didn't go for it. And again, I had to listen to this. This is quite decent, you know. And it's at that sort of decent price with the $8 near mint minus. So, you know, it's pretty almost new on Arista. And look, these guys, as I'm sure you all know, played on crap loads of people's stuff before doing the brother duo. Well, they're more than a duo. They're just the ones who get the top billing, but they play with lots of other usual suspects. So again, you know, we've got the word funk in the title. So we do have some sort of funky stuff and some jazz fusiony stuff. 1975 will probably start to slick up a little bit, clean up, but we're not right at the late 70s by this stage. And again, look, we're going to have usual suspects galore here with, who we got? So we got Dave Sanborn and, who we got there? Sorry, Don Grolick on keyboards, Will Lee bass, so yeah. Harvey Mason, I thought he'd be on this. He often played the Brecker Brothers band or whatever they wanted to call themselves. Ralph McDonald on everything around that time. And Christopher Parker, I noticed the other day on something, and I'd not really seen his name before, on additional drums. So yeah, look, lots of top-notch musos. RS 75. Bit of variety, I think, on this one. And yeah, it'll be a decent album. The Brecker Brothers. Okay, cracking on. Okay, what do we got here? Oh yeah, this one. Look, I did pay a little bit for. It is mostly because of the name, and I know that. And I'm not getting totally sucked in terms of like this is me choosing this because, hey, you know, he does always do decent stuff. Yeah, some stuff's better than others. It is getting a bit late in the piece. This is getting 1978. And this is Mr. Johnny Hammond, or Johnny Hammond Smith. As you can see there, $20 USA is getting on the dearer side for late 70s, post Mizell Brothers. Hammond, and it's called Don't Let the System Get You. I don't know, it's just Don't Let the System Get You, or Don't Let the System Get You Down. Maybe it's just Don't Let the System Get You. Thanks for the advice, Johnny. I won't. Can't say the same thing for you and the tobacco industry's influence, but anyway. So, he's looking very happy there, Mr. Hammond, because he probably made a crap load of money with the Mizell Brothers, like Gears album. It's very popular. That is very hard to see in a way. So look, I will say there's nothing on here that's, I think, really a well-known type of song. But again, this is 1978. Johnny Hammond. It's going to probably get a bit clubby and stuff again, but never fear. I'm sure there's some really good stuff. Now this again is really difficult. I just want to try to get in here and see who's playing on here. I'm sure there's good value. Okay, Al McKay from Earth, Wind and Fire on guitar. So yeah, value there. David T. Walker on guitar. Yay. Let's see, we get Byron Miller. I'm not sure about Byron Miller. There's Ndugu Leon Chancellor on drums. Oh, it's Sheila E. on congas, so she'll be quite young there, I'm assuming. Some Bill Summers from Headhunters on some percussion. Not sure who that person is, but yeah. So, this one, oh, there we go. Yeah. Well, people I've just mentioned. Yeah, so this one is on, what? Is it on CBS? Is it on, I'm not sure. Oh, no, sorry. Milestone. Like Gears was, and I think the next one as well. Yeah, so it's always nice to have some Johnny Hammond, even though we're getting post 78. Okay, cracking on. This one is sometimes actually hard to get, even though I don't think it's the best album in the world. It's just someone who's quite solid to get at a reasonable price, reasonable condition. Even the cover's a bit, I don't know, bit sort of naff in a way, I suppose. I don't know. But this is Eddie Harris's Bad Luck Is All I Have. See, because, bad luck because, see, he burnt his toast. That's a bad luck. Apparently this was $1. Well, I paid $6 for Very Good Plus. On Atlantic, this is getting to what, mid-70s? So, yeah, Eddie Harris is always does some interesting stuff, sometimes a bit hit and miss in some ways, but yeah, he's never always just doing the same thing. So it's nice that he does mix things up to keep it fresh and interesting. So we're going 75, so that's probably why we got Get On Up and dance. Yep. So we're hitting the disco era in 75, the early disco era, clubby. I'm pretty sure 75. Come on, go in focus. What is wrong with you lately? This camera used to be a lot better. There we go. 75, yep. US pressing. Yeah, look, with Eddie Harris, sometimes it's just because it's Eddie Harris, I know I'm going to get some good value. And I've got a fair few of his. It sort of sneaks up in my collection. It's a bit like Herbie Mann in that way. You know, turn around after a year and it's like, whoa, you know, it's like he's breeding like rabbits in my collection and evolving. But yeah, look, I do have a lot of respect for Eddie Harris, except maybe for when he tried to go comedy or something in a couple of records after this. All right, $6. Not the greatest cover, but hey, nice to have in the collection finally for a nice cheap price. All right, next one. This is an interesting one. Look, this is a compilation, which I don't do a lot of. And this is going to sound weird. It's a compilation of songs I have. I think I've got every single one of these songs on separate LPs because this is like a sampler. And I thought this is an interesting sampler because it's on vinyl, number one. Used to see it on CD a lot, CD samplers. And this, though, is particularly, it's not like a like DJ sampler in terms of like radio station. This is actually supposed to be a like record store sampler to play to get the peoples interested in the individual LPs. And look, it's a CTI/Kudu record. And look at that. Don't see that every day. New releases at the time from CTI, also near mint minus, also just $5. And you can see there, install play sampler with selections from some artists. And some of the artists get more than one crack at it because of the different LPs they're trying to sort of flog at the time, I suppose. So George Benson goes twice with Good King Bad, which I think was that about 75? So this probably gives you an idea of the era. Maybe even 76, perhaps. Lalo Schifrin, who, by the way, I only heard yesterday, died, I guess, or this week or something. So there you go. I'll be honest, I didn't even know he was still around. So he produced a lot of stuff in the 60s, 70s, and lots of soundtrack things. And he had the two CTI, I think only two CTI LPs. Yeah, they've just separated two songs from Black Widow there. And two from Good King Bad there. Bob James gets two from the 3 LP. Westchester Lady is probably one of the better known. And Grant Green does get a sneaky one in there from the main attraction. So, there's some nice selections there. It's a nice play. Just this cool oddity in a way. I like the back is basically the same as the front, isn't it? This one, though, this is where I'm going to break the rules. This record is manufactured strictly for in-store play. Yeah, no. So, it's got to be around the 75 mark. Maybe 76, I'm not sure off the top of my head. But yeah, look, nothing too groundbreaking, just really cool, I think. It's the cool thing. And look, to play, actually, it might be sort of nice. It might be almost like hitting random or shuffle play or whatever, random play on your CD or your MP3s or your streaming. So, I'll get a bit of mixture there. Okay, next one. Now, this one, I have one LP from this lady that I really like, really dig. This one, I think, is the next one, and she's starting to get a bit more commercially oriented for near the mid-70s. I think this might be 74. But I particularly got it because there's one really, really good track. I think it's really cool. And a couple others that are decent. The price is $8. Very good plus. The cover could be a bit better, but hey, for $8, Barbara Mason's Lady Love. And you can see there, she's trying to, I suppose, be a bit more appealing and smoky for the time. So yeah, bit of a departure, I think, in terms of image, and probably trying to keep up with the other ladies of the day and the influence of like Philly soul and stuff, and proto disco sort of era. But you can see that with Me and Mrs. Jones there as a cover. However, it is the song World War III. I almost put the single once, so I'm glad I didn't, because I don't usually play singles. World War III is kind of, it's kind of up-tempo in a way and pre-disco, but it's sort of funky and that. It's quite cool. So yeah, it's a bit of an uneven album from what I remember. It gets a bit on the syrupy ballad, but there's still a fair bit of up-tempo stuff. It came out on, is it just Buddha Records? Oh, there you go. 73 is even better, It's close. So yeah, it's early enough, but as I said, it's getting around that sort of Philly soul era where things are starting to slick up a little bit. But there's enough on here, from what I heard, that's still pretty cool, sound-wise. Yeah. And for $8, hey, it's the right price to have an excursion into something a bit different with Barbara Mason. Okay, next up, this one is from I think a pretty underrated saxophonist. I've got a couple of LPs of. This one I believe is late 60s. I might be wrong there. And that is Mr. John Handy with the new John Handy Quintet. But the other selling point of this, as you can see there, with Bobby Hutcherson. So yeah, always great value. And it's called New View, I suppose, to match the new quintet. Out on Columbia, I'm pretty sure his other ones were on Columbia in the sort of mid-ish 60s. So yeah, I just not sure what the year. I thought it was about 68, 69. To be honest, I cannot totally remember. I don't know if there's going to be a year around here. We'll have to search soon. Yeah, but anyway, he does cover or interpretation of Naima for John Coltrane. So obviously, John Coltrane is past, so we are getting to late 60s stage here. There's only 3 songs. So it could be some really nice stretch out stuff here. And just unfortunately, we've got something happening down here, which I don't know, that doesn't look like a nice state at all. Yeah, I won't question that too much. I'll just try to keep my hands off that. And let's see if we can just see here. No, it's just saying USA. Oh, come on to focus there. I cannot see a year. So I'm sure I'll flash that up on the screen sometime soon. Probably here where it's nice and white. Okay. So flash at the year there. There you go. All right. But yeah, look, I dig John Handy's stuff before. So particularly his live album from a couple of years earlier. So yeah, I'm sure this has got some great stuff, and particularly with Bobby Hutcherson on there as well, will add a bit more nice layering and texture. All right, next one up. Look, this one I thought I'd give a crack. It is a 70s pressing from a very well-known saxophonist. This is from 1974, I believe, maybe on Fantasy. And that is Cannibal Adderley Quintet. So later Adderley stuff. Pyramid. $12. Not too bad. Again, a very good plus to make it worthwhile for the price. Sort of getting to the mid-70s, so might get a little bit of funkiness in the trunk there. Yeah. But, yeah, Cannibal's usually always got some good value. Sometimes, not always totally consistent. But he did try some different things. And the other thing about this scalp, geez, I'm not having luck with the cardboard here today. The other thing that drew me to this was some of the other players. Now, we've got Nat, his brother, on cornet, who's also always strong. We've got, where is it? Phil Upchurch guitar. So that's really cool. And George Duke. So seeing them on here, I thought, okay, that should add some other nice value on there. And especially where it says George Duke's on electric piano and clav, and he's got some ARP synth in there. So it's nice to see Adderley embracing some of the electronic flavorings in the 70s rather than being a strict purist and stuff. Roy McCurdy I've also heard of. I think he was a youngish drummer at the time and a little bit funkier. So you can see him there. So, yeah. But they don't have a photo there of Upchurch or Duke. I think because here it says, where is it? Plus. So maybe they don't play on everything. I don't know. Anyway. Also, I did just spy right in the corner he was jiggling around promo. So getting a fair bit of the promos is always nice. Okay, Pyramid. Utterly. 74. All right, cracking on. We're almost done here. Now, I forgot all about this. I didn't mention this man just before and how he can sneak into my collection, and I've allowed him again. And that is, look, Herbie Man. The beat goes on. Oh, geez, sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. Okay. Anyway, that's a groovy cover anyway, firstly. So that reeks of 60s, mid-60s maybe. Beat goes on. Atlantic again, where he recorded so much stuff. And on Embryo, his Atlantic imprint. This is pre-Embryo, I believe. Beat goes on. Stereo. So they're still staying stereo, doing the mono thing at the same time. I'm going to learn. I'm going to put it down there. But yeah, this is 67. So we're getting towards the late 60s here. But again, if you look here, you look at some of the players here. Look, Roy Ayers again. Roy Ayers was joining Herbie Man a fair bit around this time on some different albums, which is always cool and a treat. But we've also got, who we've got here? Reggie Workman on bass, which is cool. Nice to see. Carlos Potato Valdez, he turns up a fair few things. We've got some guitar work as well. And Don Friedman turns up every now and again at this time. So yeah, look, bit of a mix here. 67. You can say, hence the very groovy cover. We're in the swinging, definitely in the thick of the swinging 60s by then. More rice than peas, please. That sounds cool. But you see there, it says "Hey Ho" by Herbie Hancock. So yeah, there's enough here to be, stirred the interest, eh? And again, for the price of a very good plus, for $5. So not breaking the bank for this. To get a bit of value and get a bit of Roy Ayers on there too. Cool. And lastly, just to almost pushed the point home even further. I'm just going to crack on it. We've got Herbie Mann's Stone Flute. And that's on Embryo, which is, as I was just saying before, his imprint on Atlantic. That's why it's still got the SD number there, the catalogue number that the Atlantic Records have. Stone Flute, yeah, I think this one's a little bit different, and I have heard this, and again, this is priced a bit higher than the last one, even though it's very good plus. It's at the $8 mark. But it's cool. You know, it's pretty damn cool. Yeah, I have. It's been on my hit list more than the last one. Yeah, and I think this is like 1970, so it's a bit later than the other one. Because, yeah, there it is. 70 US pressing on Embryo. It's pretty cool. So, you know, I know people dismiss Herbie Mann, but he did a lot of work and was a very good player. Now, that seems like a gatefold in there. And that's because we've got this, I forgot, this is the die-cut version. This is cut out here. So let's reveal what's inside. Well, of course, that's why. It's a flute that's made of stone. Stone flute. But there's nothing over here. That's maybe just to keep the focus on here, but interesting. Except, oh, look at that. What's it say? Walt for my son in, does it say Tangiers? Well, that's a bit nice, special for my son, but now I have that to keep it going. Oh, okay, well, that's okay. So it's one of those Unipack type gatefolds. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of nice. I like a bit of a novelty die cut sort of cover. Makes it a little bit more special. And that about wraps up. I don't know. Oh wait, hang on. Let's have a look under here. Did I get any? No, I couldn't remember. I got any CDs this time, which I didn't. So there you go. Been a big month. A lot to catch up and listen to some stage. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.